Instead, we have the opportunity to make a habit of empathy, to recognize ourselves in each other.
Do you feel that the Democrats are empathetic or not empathetic? How
Doesn't matter, because as I say, I think it comes down to just your human condition. Some people are unable to be empathetic because they have severe autism, and some people can be manipulated because they let their emotions override, and that's I think how come Obama got elected. People empathized with him, and they didn't realize what a Chicago politician was. Well, I've been doing politics since I was a teenage Republican, 14. So I meet a lot of people who say, what is Chicago politics? What do you mean? And I met so many Republicans 2 years ago that said, oh, we want to change, we're going to vote for Obama because he wants change. And they had a connection with him.
Well, you know, Obama talks continuously about empathy. I've gone through all of his speeches. He's mentioned it. He's mentioned about 60 times in 60 of his speeches. And if you go on my website, I put together a video of all the times he talked about empathy, and it's 2 hours of just him talking about empathy. Yeah.
Very interesting.
In fact, you could pretty much say that his campaign, he ran it saying that he wanted to create an empathic society.
Kind of like maybe David Koresh.
So you think he's more like a cult leader?
I do.
So you don't trust his empathy that he really
No, because he studied Saul Alinsky in Chicago.
What is that?
Saul Alinsky, the communist labor organizer of the 1940s, who was a mentor to Hillary Clinton. And the Alinsky method is Rules for Radical was the book. And now, Republicans know the rule book, so, we're reading it, and we're also having classes on how to fight Alinsky. I lead classes, not organized classes, but group discussions on how to recognize when you've been Delphi'd or the Alinsky method. Delphi is also how you're supposed to get rapid group consensus. But what has happened is that liberals have also hijacked the Delphi method that was developed by the Rand Corporation for the Air Force. And if the facilitator is set up in these little group discussions, then they can manipulate the outcome. And what do you know? It turns out to be the same.
Well, how do you know if somebody's talking about empathy like Obama? How do you know if he's really sincere? I mean, how do you... somebody...
Oh, I think he sincerely wants people to develop empathy so that he can use it. The same way that people can use the Alinsky method and the Delphi method to control the community.
Well, what would be like an honest empathy then? If he's
when you're at the movies and you have nothing involved, there's no price to pay. It's absolutely honest. Do you empathize with the people like Avatar? People were empathizing with the plight of the blue people, and the character in Avatar had to make a decision for his duty to his nation, and he left that because he became empathetic to the needs of the alien. Well, they weren't aliens, of the native population there.
Well, it seems to me that the only way that people can really connect is through empathy. And I'm just wondering.
Oh, no.
No, there's other ways of.
Think of the Stockholm syndrome. Well, actually, that is empathy, but that's manipulated empathy. Stockholm syndrome, where kidnappers start to identify with their captors and feel sorry for them.
Like an honest empathy. How do you do that then?
Well, I think it's a spiritual. That's the difference, and I think a lot of truly spiritual people really, really work at that. Like people who really are dedicated Buddhists, for example. Empathy with the world spirit. A lot of Hindus. You can just see Gandhi, people who are truly spiritual. And then you got the phonies and the manipulators. There's a lot of them. Heck, look at Hitler. He sure got a lot of empathy going, right? A whole national movement. Blame it on the Jews. So it's very powerful. I feel that true empathy is developed through spiritualism, and that there's a lot of people who didn't get religious training or spiritual training as a child, and I think it's been important for millennia, right? And now there's so many atheists and agnostics, or people who just have never had a religious experience, and they end up being criminals. And in the prisons, you've got lots and lots of people who have done mean things to other people, and they don't care about killing them and hurting other people. So they have a lack of empathy.
So what could we do to build a culture of empathy where empathy is supported in society?
The nuclear family needs to get stronger and stronger, and unfortunately, that's not going to happen. The divorce rate's way high, and I don't think that these programs that they're having in schools now saying, oh, we have to work on their character, it's not the place of the schools. It's the place of parents, grandparents, family network, and support groups like the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts that develop character. And I think that's the place for it, but not in schools, because that's for academics. So I think we're going down the wrong path, because you're always going to offend somebody in a public school if you do that. However, if you're in a religious school, I don't have a problem with it. If Muslim school or Buddhist or Jewish school or Lutheran school wants to teach their ethics, that is appropriate.